Borussia Dortmund returned to the top of the Bundesliga in 2011 and went back-to-back in 2012, finally having a team that could topple the dominant Bayern Munich. However, since that 2012 season where they won the Bundesliga, they have not returned to the top of the table since that date. And as we sit here, January in 2024, they are currently sitting 5th in the Bundesliga, and Bayer Leverkusen are the closest challengers to Bayern Munich. So over the next 5 years, we're going to be trying to rebuild Borussia Dortmund back to the top of the Bundesliga with brand new signings Jadon Sancho and Ian Maatsen in this up-to-date January transfer database as well. So lock yourselves in. 5 years. Can we topple Bayern Munich, and can we finally lift another Champions League with Borussia Dortmund? And with the two brand new signings of Ian Maatsen and Jadon Sancho, this Borussia Dortmund team looks absolutely fantastic in this 4-2-3-1. And I, for one, as a Manchester United fan, am a huge fan of Jadon Sancho. I just don't think it's worked at Manchester United. So hopefully in this rebuild, we can get Jadon Sanchez back, the best young English winger there is. And hopefully we can get him into the England fold again and get him back to playing football and get him back to doing what he loves. Now, his stats are obviously fantastic on Football Manager. We've got him for half a season straight away, and then we're going to try and pick him up in the summer. If not, we're going to get him back at some point. I've got a feeling if he's around this valuation at the end of this season, it's going to be tough to bring him back in for season 2, but hopefully by season 3, he doesn't play a game of Manchester United again, and we can pick him up for like £40 million. That would be the dream scenario, but he looks fantastic, and I'm sure Jadon Sancho is going to be a huge part of this rebuild, as is hopefully Ian Maatsen. He looks like a fantastic wing back, especially in this sort of system where you've got a young man bombing forward of that sort of pace, crossing and dribbling. I just hope he gets game time, and I hope he can become a fantastic player for us. Obviously, there's more star men around, like Marco Reus is still kicking about at 34 years of age and still got some unbelievable stats and will be a key part of this Borussia Dortmund side. And obviously up front as well, we've sort of got the rotational options of Donny Marlon, Adeyemi, Fulkrug, Seb Haller. Are any of them going to be good enough? I'm interested to see. This is going to be a very sort of a different time for Dortmund. I'm going to try and rebuild them with sort of younger players, but also bringing in some players that are just going to be maybe of a higher standard. I think in the recent years, Dortmund have certainly lost their pull since the early 2010s and haven't been able to bring in some absolute superstars like they were. So someone like Seb Haller from Ajax was a standout signing, and while he's a fantastic player, obviously got a fantastic story, for this sort of system with an advanced forward up front, I don't quite think he's going to work. And if we can get anywhere near that sort of value for a 30-year-old, I think we're just going to cash in on him. Emre Can's going to be a fantastic DM for us. Schlotterbeck and Hummels, unbelievable, as well as Nicolas Sula. So we're sorted at centre-back. And at right-back, a superstar right-back called Ryerson, the Norwegian, again, suits this system down to a T. And I love the fact that he's basically either-footed as well. And just 26 years of age. I think this guy's going to be a bit of an underdog for this team. I think you're going to be surprised at how good Mr. Ryerson could be in this season. Now, obviously, in real life, we are picking it up from the up-to-date results as of the 1st of January. So Borussia Dortmund are sitting in 5th place, 6 points of Champions League football already, which makes it a very difficult season number 1 to get into the Champions League. Bayer Leverkusen running clear, so there's no way we're getting near the top of the table. Champions League wise, we are in the round of 16, just like real life. And the Pokal, I have to say, I've got no idea how they're doing. I hope this is realistic. We shall see. We are facing Augsburg on the 30th of January. Now, normally in these January transfer rebuilds, I will go ahead and do some of my own signings. We've only got £9 million to spend, 130k in wage budget, and then with Dortmund bringing in Sancho and Maatsen already, I've got a feeling their business is pretty much done unless there's a sale of someone like Marlon to a Manchester United. I can't see anything happening, so I'm going to leave January as completing 2 fantastic signings in real life. Let's just hope they can take us from 5th place to Champions League football. That is what we need to do for season 1. And well, sadly, we didn't end up making that happen. We have come 5th in the Bundesliga on 63 points, 1 point behind Freiburg, which is infuriating because they were below us at the start of January, and at the end of the season they are above us. So they have obviously had a better second half of the season of us. But Leverkusen fell off quite big. Obviously they are an unbelievable team in real life, and Xabi Alonso is working wonders, but on FM it doesn't quite come across the same. So Leipzig in second, and Harry Kane and Bayern Munich lifting the Bundesliga trophy worthy, but not too bad of a season if we look at these stats. Obviously, these stats are a little bit skew because we're only really half a season in, but 60 goals coming 5th and 19 goals conceded coming 5th as well. Possession-wise, we're not looking to keep too much of the ball. If you have seen this tactic, you know, it's very fast, very aggressive, and lots of goals scored, and that is something we managed to achieve in the DFBL Pokal final, where Mr. Jadon Sancho got us off to a fantastic start. So Bitzer picks it up deep, finds Sancho, and Sancho gets it on that right foot, top of the box, top corner. Unbelievable finish, and that is what we want to see from Jadon Sancho. Haller's going to try and find a ball through to Sancho. He's going to get a little challenge on it, and Brandt is going to score from the edge of the box in the 12th minute. So Bitzer with a free kick is going to find a perler into the top corner in the 19th minute, and we are 3-0 up already, which means we sort of relax at the end of the first half, and for the second half, Ryerson gets the ball into the box, and Seb Haller beats the offside trap and batters it home for 4-0 in a completely dominant performance and lifting a DFP Pokal final, which is great to see. Now, I'm not too sure when the last time they ended up winning this was, only 2020, 2021. They also won it in 16, 17. So we're much more recent winners of the Pokal compared to the Bundesliga, but certainly I'm glad one we have ticked off. Now, in terms of transfer budget, currently it's showing we've only got £7 million to spend and £250,000 in wage budget. Now, I'm pretty sure the Bundesliga or the German transfer doesn't update until the end of June, because we're about to get about 50 million quid. So that is good to see. We're going to have a little bit of money to bring in, but probably not enough to bring in someone like Jadon Sancho. His value would cost us everything we have, and if I go to look at another offer and try to get him in on loan, it lies to me and tell me he's going to play first team football, which I think is probably just FM, because I mean there's not really any way they can code the fact the manager hates him. So that is what it is. Jadon Sancho is going to be very difficult to bring back for season 2, but like I said, do not turn off just yet. We are going to see Jadon Sancho back at Dortmund at some point in this rebuild. In terms of how he did this season, well, Seb Haller was our star man, 14 starts, 14 goals, 3 assists, which surprised me, to be honest, with the stats he's got and playing as an advanced forward. I didn't think he'd be our superstar, but that's exactly what his was. Julian Brandt, 7 goals and 4 assists in 27 games. Donny Marlin, 6 goals and 1 assist in 22. And Jadon Sancho played pretty much every game, got a 6.88 average rating, 5 goals, 4 assists, 27 games. That's not too bad. Over a full season, it's basically a double-double, which for someone like Jadon Sancho, I'd look to expect. He's only a 3-star current player in an inside forward role. To be fair, it says somewhere that he's a 3.5 star. I don't know where that is, because I can't find that for sure. He's a leading Bundesliga player, which I do certainly believe. He's consistent. He does love big matches, and I do think the issues with Sancho are probably just between him and Ten Hag. There's a lot of people saying that attitude issues are not real. It's just, I don't think him and Ten Hag get on. I think that's all it is. So I really do think Sancho is still going to be a world-class player in real life. We haven't got any worries there. Money-wise at Dortmund, though, we are absolutely fine. There is lots of money in the bank. There is absolutely no sort of debt, only £46 million in transfer debt, which is pretty much to be expected. Youth recruitment, youth facilities are around 4-star, and training facilities are 4.5 stars. So hopefully, through this development centre, we can get some superstars. Now, in terms of loans this season, I imagine we're going to be trying to get a few players out on loan, just like Yusufa Moukoko. Now, this guy has sort of, I don't know what's happened to Moukoko. I've not really heard too much about him in a couple of years. Obviously, he burst onto the scene as like a 16-year-old and was playing for Dortmund and smashing it for Germany in 2 games. So I think it's just a case of he sort of burst onto the scene really early, and we'll see him come back when he's sort of now 19, 20, 21, and he'll become a superstar. But looking at his stats right now, they don't fill me with a lot of confidence. His finishing's good, his pace is good, his composure's okay, his determination is okay, and it's a bit of a worrying sign for him, really. He only played 2 games for us this season, 3 off the bench, got a 6.64, didn't make much of an impact at all. So I think I'm certainly looking to get him loaned out, but I'll make sure he's going to a team where he's going to be a star player. That is the goal, that he can be in the Bundesliga, hopefully, and just go ahead and score like 20 goals at Stuttgart, and then we'll be fine. Moukoko could come back for season number 3, but that's what we're going to go ahead and do now, our transfer business for season 2. And well, as expected, Jadon Sancho is not coming back to Borussia Dortmund for this Pacific season. He's got a value of 54 to 82 million, which sadly was just too much. There was too many places in the squad I wanted to go ahead and improve, and we couldn't just buy a Jadon Sancho and be done with it. So Sancho for now is going to go back to Manchester United. Like I said, probably not going to play a game, because I've done enough simulations on this game where he will never touch the field again. So it'll be interesting to see what he does go ahead and do. Now, in January, one thing I did do was get a couple of free transfers in, and number one of them is Daniel Rugani. This guy joined on a free contract from Juventus. I think he's a very decent, well-rounded centre-back. 15 heading, 14 marking, 14 tackling, 16 concentration, good enough pace and great teamwork. And on a free contract, someone to be a backup to Sula, Hummels and Schlotterbeck. I think it is a fantastic purchase. He's got lots of experience, international player, and a free signing you cannot snuff your nose up at. And another one you can't do that with is Wanya Marcal Madavidia. Now, this guy is at Leicester in real life, and I've been able to pick him up on a free contract and loan him out to the Premier League and Everton, which is very, very exciting. His stats are very good, very, very well rounded. He can play central midfield, in the wings, or in cam. And last season at Leicester, he was fantastic. Didn't end up agreeing a contract. We picked him up on a free contract, and he's going to Everton to hopefully get a lot of game time in the Premier League. I think this guy could be a bit of an underdog for us, really. We've got players like Julian de Ranville and Jamie Barno-Gittins, but Wanya could be the man that takes over that youth wing spot for us. So that is the two free signings we've done, and there is also one more, and one that people might not like very much, and that is Anthony Martial. Now, from one United reject in Sancho to another, I think Martial, again, could go ahead and fire somewhere. It's just a case of if he can stay fit, really. That is Martial's issue. Now, what I've gone ahead and done is I've made a few sales, which will go for you in just a minute's time. But Martial is a striker with great finishing, great composure, and great pace, and certainly suits our system very much. But with that injury proneness, I wanted to get him on a contract for just 1 year on £30,000 a week. I think that is an unbelievable pickup. Now, in terms of ability, there is no question whether Martial could be good enough in the Bundesliga or in the Premier League or in anywhere in the world, really. This guy has got the talent. It's just staying fit and getting consistent. So Martial, we shall see if we can get Martial to be the best in the world and finally get that Ballon d'Or class going for Martial. Now, our first signing for actual money is Fedri Kadioglu. This guy is going to come in and beat our starting left wing back on attack. Ian Maatsen last season, we didn't touch on him. He hardly played the game and wasn't very good at all. When we look at an improvement like Fedri Kadioglu from Fenerbahce, 24 years of age, £24 million as well. His stats are just so much better, and he suits us down to an absolute ground as well. He's double-footed, which is great to see. So both him and Ryerson bombing down the line, getting balls in the box with their pace is going to be fantastic to see. So welcome in Fedri Kadioglu. My next signing for £20 million is Brazilian CDM Ederson, signed from Atalanta. This guy has been heavily linked all around Europe recently after moving from Brazil in 2021 to the lower leagues of Italy, or the lower Serie A of Italy in Salernitana. Atalanta picked him up and he's been absolutely smashing it, and as a well-rounded midfielder with great composure, great concentration, great consistency, great big matches, he is a leading Bundesliga player, 25 years of age, the perfect player to bring in and just come in and sort of be a more creative defensive midfielder. Now, we've got obviously a ball winner and a defensive midfielder on support, and I think this guy works really well in that defensive midfielder on support, while someone like Lusa Gornas Diaf can go ahead and improve all of his stats as well. This guy is just 20 years of age, signed from RB Salzburg for his release clause of £16 million. He's extremely consistent, great determination, a determined wonder kid. You cannot get better than that. It's just a case of getting him in game time and seeing if he can improve, really. He is a fantastic player off the bat. It's just if he can make that next step. Obviously, an absolute bargain from Salzburg for £16 million, but welcome in Gornat Diaf. And my final signing to be the sort of tester for if we do need to go ahead and sign Jadon Sancho, or if we need to go ahead and get a new right winger instead, is Ademola Lookman for £26.5 million. Another one from Atalanta, a fantastic club on this year's FM to go ahead and poach players from. He looks fantastic, consistent, loves a big match, 16 dribbling, great pace, great determination, and can finish as well with 14 finishing. I think this is an absolute coup of a signing. Already a £50 million value. He's obviously been in the Bundesliga before at Leipzig. Never really got a look in. 11 games back here, didn't score a single goal. But for Atlanta recently in the last 2 years, IRL, and obviously currently on this FM save, he has been fantastic. And for £26 million, I think is an absolute bargain. And with the sales we've also done, which we'll go through quickly, for £82 million, our team looks very different. Now, Emre Can, he is an absolute superstar and a fantastic player, but a 30-year-old central defensive midfielder, £40 million, we really cannot afford to turn that down, especially when we're looking to take that next step. We're not going to see any more improvements from Can. Someone like Ederson and someone like Luka Gorna Diaf can go into that sort of player, and for £40 million, I think that's a fantastic sale. And Sebastian Haller, £26 million. We got close to that value we were looking for. He was great last season, but I think Martial, Donny Marlon and Karim Adeyemi can go ahead and pick that up, and not Donny Marlon because he has gone for £14 million to Brentford. Again, didn't play match last season. Isn't the greatest player in real life. I don't really get too much vibes of him, really. I think Adeyemi's 10 times the player. I don't really see too much of Marlon doing very well. So he's off to Brentford for 15 million quid. And that is pretty much it in terms of outgoings. Mokoko's gone on loan to Stuttgart, where hopefully he can go ahead and do very well. I made sure he was set as a star player. I don't know if you can see that here, but hopefully he goes ahead and gets lots and lots of game time. And same for Jamie Bino Gittins as well, because this guy has got a lot of potential, sort of. It's only 3.5 star now, but at the start of the game, he has lots of potential. He's extremely fast, can dribble, but I never seem to get him going to that next step. So I really hope he can go to Everton and absolutely smashing it and come back as a superstar player. There is no sort of purchase back on him, so hopefully we can get him back and firing, which would be great to go ahead and see. No more transfer deals to pick up with, which means our team is looking like so. Grigor Kobel in goal, Ryerson at right back, Sula Schlotterbeck, Kadioglu, Sabitzer, Luka Gunadiaf, Reina, Julian Brandt, Lookman, and Karim Adeyemi. On the bench is Maya, Wolf, Hummels, Rogani, Ben Sabani, Ojkan, Edison, Julian Durantville, Nemesia, Royce, and Anthony Martial. Giovanni Reina I want to touch on as well. He's a fantastic wonder kid who looks like he's got every single stat and every single bit of potential to go to the very top, but I never seem to be able to get him there. Similar to Tian Vender Benge in FC20. That is the worst pronunciation you will ever hear. I never seem to get this guy ticking, same as Bugende at 20. So hopefully we can have that different in this save. Hopefully as sort of Royce winds down his career, he can take up that sort of influential role across the back, across the front three. So hopefully we shall see Reina progress, but I'm not, the most keen on him, to be honest. His stats are great, but I just never seem to get anything out of him. Of course, he's consistent, which is great to see, but that big value, we could end up selling him for around 50 million quid, and I think that would be quite a good sell for us. Only 4-star potential. We can certainly improve on that. I think Jadon Sancho is probably twice the player, and if we can do a sort of trade money-wise of that, I think that would be pretty good for us, but we'll see what we can do for season number 2. Obviously, last season we ended up not winning, not getting in the top 4 of the Bundesliga, so we're in the Europa League this season, which I would love to go ahead and win. You're in the Pokal again, so hopefully we can go back to back, and of course we're in the Super Cup for win the Pokal as well. So lots of trophies to go ahead and win. Let me go ahead and simulate for season number 2 and see what we can win. Well, we did manage to get to the Europa League final, where we got off to a little bit of a ropey start. A poor pass from Hummels finds Kulusevski, puts on 1-0 up for Tottenham Hotspur, but as you can see from the top left, we absolutely smashed Spurs in this second half. Ademola Lookman getting us underway to make things 1-1. Royce with the corner for this one, whips it in, and Hummels is not quite going to win that one. Good fall to Adeyemi, to Lookman, to Sabitzer from distance for 2-1, and then in the last 10 minutes, we went absolutely wild. Royce with another ball in, Hummels gets in the end of that one to make it 3-1, and then Adeyemi, bombing down the left-hand side, is going to manage to get a ball in for Anthony Martial, eventually, after hitting the post twice, to make it 4-1 and 5-1 in the 90th minute. It's going to be another goal from Anthony Martial, proving to be a pretty good signing. Federico Kadioglu doing absolute wonders there, and Martial available in the 6-yard box to tap home for 2 goals. Means an absolute dominant display in the Europa League final, smashing Spurs with over 15 shots, 2.75 XG, and certainly deserved victors in that performance. So very, very happy to tick that one off the list. It's a good one to go ahead and win nice and early on. Obviously gets us into the Champions League next season. Now, the DFB Pokal, we got to the final where sadly we lost 2-1 to Bayern Munich, and remember that guy Emre Can we sold? Yeah, he scored in the 94th minute to go ahead and make Bayern Munich winners of the DFB Pokal final, which is extremely annoying. And the Super Cup, we also lost 2-0 to Bayern Munich through goals through Upamecano and Leroy Sané. But the Bundesliga this season was much better than last season. We finished just 3 points away from Bayern Munich on 68 points to win the league, which is frustrating because it was a very low point scoring league, but certainly a much better season than last season. Obviously, we only had half the season to go ahead and improve, but I think we've made big strides this season. We certainly scored lots of goals. We conceded not a few many. As you can see from the data hub, we were fantastic. Over 2 goals scored per game, 0.88 conceded per game. And in terms of the players that were standing out, Karim Adeyemi this season, 21 goals and 14 assists, has proved he's going to be the striker for this team. He looks fantastic. 19 pace, 19 acceleration. That's enough for me. He's determined, he can finish, his composure's okay, but because of that pace, he's going to be able to outrun every single defender and score so many goals. So Adeyemi is going to be our superstar. Brilliant Brandt, 20 goals and 13 assists in Cam, also fantastic. And Martial as our backup this season, 12 goals, 1 assist in 27 starts, 21 off the bench, which has given him another year's contract, which for £30,000 a week, I'm happy to do that because that's a fantastic signing. free transfer, 12 goals. Nothing can go wrong with that. Ben Sabani at left back was very good, 10 goals and 7 assists. Gio Reyna with a decent season, 8 and 6. Adam Lookman with 6 goals, 8 assists, 45 games. Not quite as good as Jadon Sancho was, but also half the price, so something to definitely keep an eye on. Luka Gordon-Diaf hardly played this season, wasn't fantastic. Kadioglu, 5 assists and 2 goals was brilliant. And Regani as the backup signing we made was very good, and Edison as well, 3 assists, 29 games, 11 on the bench, very, very consistent. And because of all the sort of outgoings we had last summer as well, we've actually got £59 million to go ahead and spend this summer already, and £600,000 in wage budget. And as we check out our old friend Jadon Sancho, as predicted, he did not play for Manchester United very much last season. 3 starts, 21 off the bench, listed for transfer, £23 million. So we'll do it right now, shall we? We'll ask the agent. They are buzzing. We'll try and get that wage down a little bit. Fantastic. £23 million. Jadon Sancho is going to be coming to Borussia Dortmund, and I'm very excited because now we can sort of get this rebuild underway. We'll just sort of say yes to everything. Try and get him around £200,000 a week would be decent for him. I'd be very happy to get it over the line. He is not budging, so he's not budging. 225k a week. Jadon Sancho is going to be joining Borussia Dortmund, but who else can we bring in for season 3? Well, just to confirm, we obviously went ahead and secured that deal for Jadon Sancho, £23 million, an absolute bargain to go ahead and brick this man up. He's a consistent, loves a big match, and is now Dortmund through and through. Obviously through Dortmund 2017 to 21, went to Manchester United, completely failed transfer move. So he is back at Dortmund, and I'm very excited because that is an absolute bargain for a player like Jadon Sancho, and someone that's going to also play on the wing, possibly the other wing, which would make Adeyemi our star striker, is Rooney Bargi. Feels like a very Borussia Dortmund signing. I've actually not signed him on this year's FM. £9 million. I signed him so much last year. I decided this year to hardly sign him, but he's an absolute superstar. And for Sweden, 9 goals in 12 appearances. He's so quick. He's got great dribbling, and I think he actually sort of is a young Jadon Sancho, or younger, even younger than Jadon Sancho. The fact that he's very good at dribbling, decent finisher, not the quickest of players, but very good on the ball and can link up play. And that's 2 inside forwards on support on the right and on the left. They have to sit in, build up play, and 2 fantastic wingers. And for £9 million, of course, an absolute bargain. And the other signing I made for some money was a young striker in Agustin Roberto. Now, this guy is a fantastic young Argentinian, signed from River Plate for £5 million and loaned out to Fortuna Dusseldorf. His stats are very, very good. Good finishing, composure, good pace. Similar to Yusuf Moukoko, where he's not the most determined player, but for £5 million, I saw him and he looked very good, and I was excited to bring someone new in. So a young striker, go out on loan and see what he can do. And from there, the bargains just carried on really. So we had 3 more free transfers. Number 1 was Saud Abdelhamid from Al Hilal in Saudi Arabia. His contract ran out. We got him in on a free signing and to be a backup to the current right back Ryerson. I think suits it down to a T. I mean, he's 26 years of age, international experience, consistent, loves big match, extremely quick, can dribble, very determined, great work rate. A bargain signing of Abdelhamid. Very happy with that one. The next one is David Zimmer, similar to Regani, a young centre-back who looks decent. This guy is only 24 years of age, extremely consistent, loves big match, and probably is the next step to Regani. Regani is fantastic, just a little bit older. I think that guy sort of comes in as a more seasoned sort of backup. And a striker we've brought in, who I am hoping is going to be a fantastic rotation option for Kempi, is Dominic Calvert-Lewin on a free signing from Everton. Now, I've played enough FM to know how good Calvert-Lewin can be on FM. He is obviously very injury prone, similar to Anthony Martial, but again, certainly a better striker, better finishing, better first touch, great heading, off the ball work, extreme pace, great determination, great composure, extremely consistent, just always injured. But if we can keep DCL fit, he is going to be a superstar for us. So very happy to bring him in. Now, the reason we made them signings because we did end up selling Anthony Martial for £2.5 million to Braga. I'm very happy. Brought him in for a year, scored 12 goals, 30k a week, which means around £1.5 million in wage budget over the year, to then sell him for £2.5 million. So we made £1 million. He scored us 12 goals and an absolute deal, I must say myself. Tyler Messier left. Marius Wolf left to Al Fazali, which is why I brought in Saud Abdelhamid. Duranva's gone out on loan again. Nemesia's gone out on loan again. Marcel Madavadumia has gone out on loan again. Last season at Everton, he was fantastic. 31 goals and 6 assists. And nearly ended up bringing him in to be the backup, but then I signed Rooney Bargi for £9 million. And how could I not bring in Rooney Bargi? So hopefully this guy can go again and have having a fantastic loan spell, this time over in Portugal at Porto. And Moukoko is someone to certainly touch on because last season's loan at Stuttgart was completely useless. This season's gone to Borussia Mönchengladbach. Hopefully he can do better. I did put star player in that Stuttgart contract. He just didn't play at all. And in Gladbach, again, I put important player because obviously he's lost a little bit of respect in the league because he hardly played last season. I'm hoping he can go ahead and break out. I mean, it's difficult with Moukoko. He's such a fantastic striker, but just doesn't seem to develop as well as he used to anymore. And a whole other bunch of players out on loan as well, which leaves the team looking like so. We've got Kobel in goal, Rice and Sula, Schlotterbeck, Kadioglu, Sabitzer, Luka Gordon-Diaf, Sancho, Brandt, Lookman, Adeyemi, Maya, Abdulhamid, Zimmer, Regani, Abayoge, Ozcan, Edison, Marji, Reina, Bino Gittins and Calvert-Lewin. And Bino Gittins I want to touch on because he has progressed very, very nicely after a fantastic loan spell on Everton as well. They took on 2 wingers from us last season. Both of them got lots of game time and he was fantastic. He looks like he's progressed very well in technicals. Mentals are still a little bit low, but the pace, the dribbling, the flair, hopefully Bino Gittins can have a breakout season this season. We obviously got a lot of competition. Sancho, Lookman, Bargi, Bino Gittins. He probably is number 4, so that might halter him a little bit, but hopefully he can break out. Now, season 3, I would love to make a good run in the Champions League. I'd love to get that Pokal back and also try and topple Bayern Munich for season 3. Well, I've got to say, looking at this screen, it was extremely disappointing. We ended up winning the Super Cup and the European South American Challenge Cup, but they lost in the Super Cup final, round of 16 in the Champions League by Barcelona, second round in the DFB Pokal by Leipzig, and then come third in the league on 67 points, which is only a point less than we got last season, but certainly a little bit of a fall off this season, which is extremely frustrating. I thought we were making big strides with the signings we'd made, with the youngsters we were bringing through. I thought we were doing very well, but apparently not. I mean, Adeyemi was fantastic this season, 23 goals, 8 assists. Bargi, 15 goals, 16 assists. Sabitzer, 11 goals, 5 assists. Brandt, 8 goals, 18 assists. Ryerson, 8 goals, 11 assists. Sancho, 7 goals and 4 assists. And that year out at United has certainly hurt him a little bit. He wasn't fantastic this season, and maybe something to consider. Will Bino Gittins go ahead and overtake him? Well, he was okay this season, 6 starts, 22 off the bench, but 4 goals, 2 assists, a 6.98 average rating. And again, is progressing very nicely. We'll see what we do go ahead and do with Mr. Bino Gittins. Lookman, similar to Sancho this season, sort of didn't take that next step. 5 goals, 8 assists. Reina, 5 goals, 7 assists. Sula, 5 goals, 1 assist. Edison, very good in DM, 6 goals and 3 assists. But certainly some players not quite making that next step up. Now, someone I didn't actually really touch on last season was John Abayoge. This guy has come from our youth academy. Is the left back that I brought in to be the backup to Kadioglu. He's fantastic for his age, and Kadioglu is brilliant. So just to get him in the first team and get him that sort of experience as a wonder kid is certainly something that I did want to do. And obviously Rudy Bargi this season was lights out good. His stats are unbelievable. Is certainly going to be a starter next season, but will it be over Jadon Sancho? We will have to see. And another thing to touch on, Calvert-Lewin didn't play a single game this season. Now, I didn't lock in the starting 11. I didn't make it so he couldn't play. He just didn't play at all, which is very odd. I mean, did he get a big old injury? It's something to certainly check out because it is Calvert-Lewin. He didn't get injured at all this season. Just didn't play. But had a pulled hamstring, for pre-season, but other than that, just simply didn't play any football this year, and I've got no idea why. Not off the bench, didn't start a single game, so his value has come plummeting down, and what an absolute waste of a free sign that is. 155k a week as well, so I'm going to try and sell him as quick as I can to get some money back for him. The loans we did last season was okay as well. Nemesia went out to Real Sociedad and was decent over there. He played 40 games and got 12 goals, so very, very impressive. Possibly someone to use in cam or to sell. 75 million pounds value. He's progressing very, very nicely. Issue is he doesn't really suit our system very much. He's not the greatest attacking midfielder on attack, and I think Brandt is so good they won't get too much game time, so possibly someone to sell, possibly someone to keep. Ben Sabani ended up loaning out to West Ham, trying to sell him. He did well over there, but still hopefully that just improved his value a little bit. Wanya Markow, again, fantastic. 18 starts, 22 off the bench, 7 goals, and a very, very good player. I think at this point we probably end up selling him for 25 million quid, but a very good loan signing indeed, free signing indeed. Augustin Roberto was decent at Dusseldorf, 8 starts, 20 off the bench, 7 goals. Duranville was okay at Dusseldorf as well, but sadly didn't really progress too much. is okay with him. He's just very, very similar to Bino Gittins and hasn't quite progressed as much as I'd hope. Good value, 20 years of age. Possibly, if we were going like season 7, 8, 9 in this rebuild, he'd be the sort of player we're looking at. And similar maybe for Moukoko, because this season he was okay at right back. 12 goals, 2 assists in 28 games is nothing to snuff your nose up at. But as we're now moving to the next level, Adeyemi is so dominant. We're just not seeing much come from him, which is disappointing. Now, obviously, Calvert-Lewin is going to be leaving the club, and Martial's already left the club, so there is a spot there to be the backup striker. I just hope he'll be able to take it, because he's not progressed as well as I would hope, and we'll have to see what he can do. I mean, someone like Julian Rykhoff is even probably a better shout, realistically. I mean, his stats are very, very similar. He's doing better out on loan. Possibly someone like Rykhoff. Weird that 3 players were loaned out to Dusseldorf: Rykhoff, Duranville, and Augustin Roberto. Very odd choice for me to loan them out there, but it is what it is. Transfer-wise, we've got £90 million. We are just building up a ridiculous amount of finances at this club, and it's very, very easy to do, I have to say. We're just not being stupid with signings. If you sort of look at our net spend every season, last season we sold 80 million, brought in 37.5, and again, something I have actually missed is because in January, Schlotterbeck's release clause was done by Arsenal for £65 million, so we need to go ahead and replace him. It's a shame he has gone. Very big shame, in fact, because he is a fantastic centre-back and no longer ours, but nothing we could do about it. It is a release clause at the end of the day. So we were £40 million net spend this summer, nothing there. So we're positive in transfers by 40 million quid. Now, someone else that I've not touched on that has gone ahead and retired, if we can see him last season, was Marco Reus and Mats Hummels. Both of them ended up retiring. So sad to see them both gone, but both very good legends of the club. Sadly, none of them are going to come in as coaches because they're both absolutely rubbish at it, but hopefully they can go ahead and have good careers. Lots of money to spend. We need to make a big step this season because we are faltering behind Leverkusen, behind Bayern Munich, and we want to win the Bundesliga and the Champions League in this 5-year rebuild. So we had to make some big calls and sell some players which I wish were good enough but slightly haven't taken that next step and bring in as much money as possible. So Bino Gittins has left the club. £27.5 million I think is a very good sale. I mean, if you look at what they actually done in real life, bringing him for £80,000 for Manchester City, and now is sold for 28 million quid to the Premier League. Progressed okay, but not quite the level of Bargi, not the level of Sancho, not the level of the other one in the world, Ademola Lookman as well. So Bino Gittins is out the door, but it's not the end of the world. I think a very good sale for £27.5 million. And Ben Sabani's also at the club for £3.5 million, as has Daniele Rugani. So we had around £150 million to go ahead and spend. And the first signing I made was a young centre-back in Zeno Di Bas. This guy is fantastic. Great ball playing ability as a centre-back. And to come in and be sort of the fourth option for 30 million quid is an absolute no-brainer. He's been at Porto, and a very good signing there, was sort of a backup over 2 seasons. It's going to be the same here, but at 22 years of age, I'm not worried at all because he can progress to the very top of the game, and he's very consistent, loves a big match as well, and it's someone that you guys on Patreon will be able to use. Now, a massive thank you to the legends on Patreon on screen right now. You are literally helping make my dreams come true, improving the setup, make these videos as good as possible, and you obviously get the rebuild files as well. So if you guys do want to pick up this Borussia Dortmund save from any point, season 1 and season 5 will be available for you guys down there, but if you want it from any other point, let me know and I can send you over the files. A massive thank you to anyone that does do it, and obviously it helps me out, so feel free to go ahead and do that one. Now, James Garner is another player I want to touch on. £37.5 million. We have signed a fantastic central defensive midfielder. I'm a huge fan of Jimmy Garner's in real life. He's extremely consistent, loves a big match, and is one of the best ball playing midfielders, sorry, you can really get. He is fantastic, and for such a bargain fee of £35 million, Everton have helped us out massively so far with 2 fantastic loan sort of deals to them, and now we're poaching their best midfielder for 35 million quid. So welcome in James Garner to Borussia Dortmund. I've signed a young goalkeeper in Elvio Vega. He's a regen, but 5-star potential. And again, for you Patreon people, he could be fantastic for you. 6'2", 18 years of age, could be the star keeper to replace Gregor Kobel. Konstantin Tuyovokian is someone I've also brought in. This guy is from Dynamo Moscow. Great determination, great pace, great finishing, great composure. I'm not sure if Moukoko is going to be that guy, but we'll see. I mean, he's going to be probably the third choice striker. Savukin could potentially play in Cam as well, as can Moukoko. So he's going to be staying in the club, as is Moukoko this season. Just hopefully he can go ahead and be a superstar for us. He could even overtake someone like Adeyemi because his stats are outrageous. He's so consistent as well. So we'll see what Tuyovokin could be. And for 12 million quid, an absolute bargain. And my last signing was a big one. A centre-back to bring in to replace Schlotterbeck is David Carmo. He's 27 years of age, also from Porto, so the man keeping Zinedine de Bast out of the team has come to keep him out of the team again, but he's consistent. He is fantastic. Great marking, tackling, heading, very tall at 6'5" with fantastic pace, very brave as well, which now leaves the team looking like so. Koval in goal, Ryerson, Kadioglu, Sula, Carmo, Garner, Sabitzer, Bargi, Sancho, Brandt and Adeyemi. I'm very, very excited for this season. I think we've made big strides with the signings we've made. We've strengthened the defence a lot. We've brought in some very good wonder kids as well, and I'm excited to see what we can go ahead and do. Now, I was actually wrong. Makoko is going to go out on loan just one more time. He's got a bid on him from Stuttgart, and obviously first season when Stuttgart did nothing. Hopefully this season he can be fantastic. So season 4, is this the season we take the next step? Yes, we can. We certainly improved this season. 82 points, and for the first time in 15 years we have made Borussia Dortmund Bundesliga winners. A fantastic season. A 63 goal difference. And that's down to us scoring 100 goals, 36 more than Bayern Munich, and only conceding 37 as well. So, as I've mentioned, this tactic is extremely good. It's extremely attacking, and it will be coming out on Josh Daly's YouTube channel in, I believe, 7 days' time, actually. Monday the 22nd is when this is scheduled to come out. But 82 points is fantastic. 26 goals, 4 draws, 4 losses. Adeyemi was fantastic this season. Julian Brandt with 13 assists. Bargi on there with 11 assists as well. Adeyemi with 17 goals. Brandt with 7 assists, and someone I've really not given any love to so far in this rebuild. He's been consistently unbelievable. He's 31 years of age, but 13 goals, 18 assists. You just can't really replace it. He's got a great first touch, great passing, great technique, great flair, great vision. Still very quick, extremely consistent, loves big matches. Just goes under the radar as a very consistent, unbelievable cam, and is someone that I'm actually going to look to in future rebuilds to go ahead and pick up, because for 60 million quid, he seems like an absolute bargain. Also, in terms of this season, who broke out? Makoko, 20 goals in 39 games on loan at Stuttgart in the Bundesliga. Gives me hope that next season, him and Adeyemi could be sharing that striker role. He is finally a 3-star potential player. Still got 4.5-star potential because of the sort of dynamic potential. On FM this year, a player could get to sort of 24 years of age and still break out. The Jesse Lingard breakout. So hopefully Makoko next year can be fantastic for us. He's going to be coming back as our backup striker. Adeyemi, 20 goals and 7 assists. Julian Brandt, 13 and 18. Tuvyakin off the bench, 13 goals and 2 assists. Fantastic. Sancho finally breaking out, 12 goals and 8 assists. A fantastic season for Jason Sanchez. He is now 27 years of age. He's wanted by PSG, but he's going to be going nowhere. He is the face of the rebuild, and he will be staying. Rudy Bargi, 10 and 12. Gio Reyna also starting to become of age. 10 goals, 8 assists, a 7.11 average rating. Consistent, loves a big match, starting to become a superstar, and really is the American dream. 61 games in 24 years of age. That is unbelievable. Jimmy Garner this season, 5 goals, 7 assists, 7.05 average rating. Unbelievable signing for 35 million quid. And it's someone that really doesn't get the love that he deserves. I am such a big fan of James Garner. If you've watched the channel from sort of day one, I used to make videos on a game called Club, and I picked this guy to be the breakout star for last season when he moved to Everton. He was very good, and now this season at Everton, he's been fantastic. And I think, and I still say this to this day, 2026 World Cup, he will be there in the England squad, and he's absolutely fantastic. I'm just such a big fan, and for 35 million quid, I think it's an absolute bargain. So Jimmy Garner, huge fan. Give him the love he deserves. The other standard performers this season, Julian Brandt, of course, was number 1. Kadioglu was 7.3 average rating, is ridiculous over 37 games, 9 goals and 5 assists. Abdulhamid is his backup as well, 3 goals and 9 assists at the backup right back. Nemessia, 2 goals, 1 assist, hardly played. Back up to Brandt, like I said, he was going to come back and hopefully integrate into the team. He's progressed really well. We've just been sort of pushed to the back because of how good Julian Brandt has been. Gio Reyna, Julian Ryerson, Jimmy Garner, Johan Boyoge, 8 games this season, a 7 average rating, progressing very nicely as our wonder kid left back. So happy with him. Sula was fantastic. Tuvyakin, Carmo was good, 42 games, 8 goals. Obviously, he's got fantastic heading ability. And Ederson as well was someone that we've not really spoken about in this rebuild because he's just been going under the radar. 6.9 every season, extremely consistent, loves a big match. And the bargain fee we picked him up for was 20 million quid. He's just been very, very good, very, very consistent, exactly what you want as a deep line playmaker in DM. So very happy with Ederson as well. So bits are starting to wind down, but still fantastic. Lucas Gonadiaf has done absolutely nothing. His stats are outrageous, but he is just not progressing at all, really. He's now just sort of our backup DM to Ederson. And Kobel, again, has been brilliant. Lookman, true backup this season. 7 starts, 1 goal and 14 assists. And Zinedine Debast as well, I do feel bad for. Fantastic young centre-back, but brought in, at the same time, brought in David Carmo. He kept him out of the Porto team. And he, again, is sort of going to be slightly halted by that. But still, just 23 years of age, can go to the next step. Now, this season, Champions League-wise, we've got round of 16 by Arsenal, which is sad. But we shall see. Next season, we need to make a big step to go ahead and win that one. And the Pokal, second round by Leverkusen as well. So we want to win that one again before the end of this rebuild. So certainly a big window coming up. £91 million to go and spend. So let's go have some fun. And well, actually, we only made 2 signings this summer. One was Ezekiel Palacios, brought in for £12 million from Bayer Leverkusen. A fantastic young central defensive midfielder who's extremely consistent, loves a big match. Now 28 years of age, so not quite so young anymore, but has progressed very, very well. And a fantastic rotation option in midfield. And the other guy is our superstar centre-back, William Pacho, now 25 years of age, had 100 games in the Bundesliga for Eintracht Frankfurt, has developed into an extremely consistent, big match loving, very quick, extremely consistent, determined centre-back. So very happy to bring in William Pacho. And the other thing we did was sold Nemesia for 28 million quid to RB Leipzig. So Lord knows he's going to come back and haunt us and score a hat-trick in a Champions League final against us probably. So that'll be fun. I brought you back on this exact day is because we've just had an offer for Adeyemi of £110 million. Now, this guy is fantastic. And again, I never pick him up on Rebuild. So maybe it's something I should start doing because 110 million quid is outrageous from Arsenal. Obviously, I'm going to be rejecting it because he is our superstar striker. But I wanted to bring that one up. He's up front with Sancho, Baggio on the wings, Brandt in behind, Garner and Palacios in midfield, Kadioglu, Ryerson, Pacho, Carmo, Kobel as the team. But the backups now have really progressed to the next level. Vega in goal, Abdul Hamid, Sula, Debast, Abayoge, Dornaf, Ederson, Reina, Tuvikin, Lookman, Mokoko, David Zimmer, Marcel Sabitzer, Maduvida, and Julian de Ranville. So we've got so many players now at the club, still so much money at the club as well. And the club has really progressed really on every single level. I mean, we haven't even touched on really the under-19s, the wonder kids that have been coming through. There's a few, Sebastian Stone, Gersty, Elia Guzio, Essing, Szymanski. These are all players that have come through. And if we look at their stats, some of them are outrageous. This guy's got 19 first touch, 14 finishing, 16 on the ball, 16 technique. As like a deep line forward, look at them stats. This guy could be your striker for years to come. Elia Guizio as a cam is very decent at 15 years of age. Sebastian Gertzi as a goalkeeper, fantastic. And Sebastian Stone as a central defensive midfielder, a little bit of a way to go, but 5-star potential is very, very exciting. Now we are making big old strides. Need to go ahead and win that Champions League for season number 5. So we start with the DFL Super Cup, and it's something that I want to show you guys because this tactic is unbelievable and I actually cannot wait for Josh to release it. It is an absolute banger. And a 5-0 victory in this one against, obviously, Nuremberg, not the greatest of sides. They went down to 10 men in the last minute as well. So it's pretty much against 11-man Nuremberg. Just the football we play in this tactic is unbelievable. A screamer there from Jimmy Garner from 30 yards out. 33rd minute, Garner finds Sancho, who finds Kadioglu down the left-hand side, ended up falling to Rooney Bargi, and his finishing is outrageous. And a 68th minute, Julian Brandt whips the corner in, and a William Pacho, brand new centre-back signing header, made it a 5-0 game. And the domination in this game, we're not even meant to keep much possession, but 60% possession, 25 shots to their 8, 14 on target to their 2, a 2.68 average rating, a completely dominant performance last season in that Super Cup, which is fantastic to see. And the dominant performances really don't stop there either, because we're going to go ahead today in the DFB Pokal final, and we're going to retain that as well, this time against a very good side in VfL Wolfsburg. Now Carmo, a ball down the line, Giovanni Reina still at the club, whips it in to the back stick. A mistake from the keeper, and Julian Brandt, being as consistent as he is, pokes it home. A Tuvikin penalty, showing the rotation we've got as well, because he hasn't played a game yet for us with Sin, but there he is taking the penalty. Ryerson going to find this back to Palacios to find Ederson at the edge of the box, and he scores a screen with this time rather than Jimmy Garner. There is just so much space in this formation. It is simply beautiful. Again, this formation will be available in the download link. link to the rebuild files. I'm going to put this one in there as well, just for you guys that do want that and do support on Patreon. A little added bonus to say a massive thank you. But that is the DFB Pokal. That is the Super Cup. We obviously are going to look to win the Bundesliga this season as well, but there is a trophy that has eluded us thus far, and that is the UEFA Champions League. And we ended up getting to the final of this one and faced off against Chelsea. Now, Julian de Ranville was on the ball this time down the right-hand side, starting this game in the 15th minute, finding Giovanni Reina on the cam spot to make it 1-0 in 16 minutes. But Chelsea are going to get one back. Zaniolo and Caicedo linking up nicely. Zaniolo whips the ball into the back stick, and Javi Guerrera, the Spanish midfielder, pokes it home. We took it to extra time against Chelsea, and we're going to see some great build-up here. Palacios, a ball in the line to Marcao. I mean, the players that are popping up into Makoko to win Dortmund a Champions League final, just to get that one out there. The players that are popping up, the rotation options we have built here at Dortmund is simply ridiculous. I mean, the team we started with was Kobel, Abdul Hamid, Sula, Pacho, Ryerson, Garner, Edison, de Ranville, Reina, Sancho, Makoko. On the bench, we had players like Ostrozinski, Kadioglu, Bargi, Adeyemi, Palacios, Carmo, Tuvikin, Rykov, Markel Wadiima, Filippo Mane, Adam Alukman, David Zimmer. We have built an absolute squad here at Borussia Dortmund, and to win everything, the Borussia Dortmund double is done. We have won the Bundesliga on 76 points, a 72 goal difference. We have gone back-to-back in the league, 100 goals back-to-back as well, conceding just 28 this time around. An unbelievable rebuild with the top two goal scorers, Adeyemi and Makoko, finally broke through. 23 goals, 4 assists in 16 starts, 21 off the bench. Now a 4-star player, 4-star current ability, 4-star potential ability. My recommendation for anyone picking this save up is to move Adeyemi to left wing. Sancho's a backup at this point, and Makoko comes in at top. Probably bring in a brand new cam to go ahead and replace Julian Brandt. I mean, he has just dropped a 7.42, so possibly not. He has been outrageous. Rooney Bargi is simply fantastic. Jimmy Garner and possibly Edison in midfield, I'd say, is the two strongest. Kadioglu, Carmo, Pacho, Ryerson, Kobel. A brand new right back potentially needed, although Abdul Hamid is absolutely fantastic as well. I mean, the greens on this screen are ridiculous. Brandt with a 7.42, 24 assists and 13 goals. I take it all back. Don't sell him. This man is my new favourite cam, and I'm never ever slandering him again. I'm using him on every rebuild from now on. Adeyemi, 37 goals, 12 assists. Kadioglu, 15 assists and 2 goals, 2 and 6 from Ryerson. De Ranville, 3 goals and 3 assists. Kobel, obviously nothing. Abdul Hamid, 6 and 7. Makoko, 23 and 4. Rooney Bargi, 13 and 9. Jadon Sancho, 9 goals, 14 assists. Still below a 7 average rating, which is interesting to see. James Garner, a 7.03. We have got lots of money in the bank. We have just won the Champions League. We've gone back-to-back in the Bundesliga. We've won the domestic treble. Rebuild is over, so thank you so much for watching. It's been an absolute pleasure to rebuild Borussia Dortmund, and over the next few days, we've got Moneyball videos coming out. So if you're interested in Moneyball, on Wednesday is going to be how to play Moneyball, and we're trying to get loads of views sorted and everything for that one. So Moneyball on Wednesday, and then on Friday, we're using a Moneyball rebuild to rebuild Porto to Champions League winners. So make sure to subscribe to the channel and get locked in for that one. If you want videos to watch right now, if you're watching this on Monday, I released an hour and 20-minute special of how I rebuilt the worst team in England in Bishop Stortford over 20 seasons to the Champions League winners, and that video is just down there.